How many feet is a fathom? How many feet is a
So a fathom, only thing I know about a fathom is they use it to talk about like the ocean floor.
Yeah.
But
I don't-
also
yeah.
it makes me feel like it might be a non-standard. Like it's not gonna be but I'm gonna go
Yeah.
like 3,000.
3,000 feet is
Yeah.
a fathom. It is 6. So clearly I don't think either of us know what a fathom is. Let me look up a fathom. A unit of length equal to 6 feet, chiefly used in reference to the depth of water. What? You know what? I guess we just learned something today. I don't exactly know what a fathom is. But anyway, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Cars Cast.
Do the Karstcast movie cast. Your favorite place to hear Karsten Rundquist for more than 20 minutes.
Yep.
It's probably your
Even
second
more than
favorite place to hear Karsten overall.
Yeah. Your favorite place to hear Jeff Friborslow in more than, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
That really broke down immediately.
What's new? What's new, Jeff? Anything new in the? We've been talking to ourselves so much this week. I feel like we busted out so many Patreon episodes.
We just talked about other things. Like this has been a real Karsten and Jeff bonding week.
Yeah, we've done it. We've done a lot. It's spring. I don't know if you notice any difference, but it's spring out. Things are changing in Chicago.
I am not in Chicago, so I definitely did not notice. It is still very, very hot in Florida.
Yeah,
it was last week as well.
Said it many times. We'll say it again. Spring's my favorite season, so I'm a happy boy. Feels good to get back out there. Bright, shining sun. The Batman is in theaters. We have not seen it. We actually don't know if we'll talk about it on the podcast. I was like, it would be asking, I feel like a lot to, I don't know if you had any interest in seeing the movie. Well, I guess that's where we'll start. Do you have any interest in seeing that movie?
Well, I've heard from early indications that it's good.
Oh yeah. I'm really excited.
So I will see it.
Okay. It's, I'm seeing it tonight. So pretty excited. Have you ever seen the original Batman, the 1966 one?
No.
With Adam West. I just watched it last night for the first time because, it's the season. And it is ridiculous. It's the dumbest movie known to man.
Do you think you need to watch that one to understand the new one?
Definitely not. No. I'm like, I wonder if the shark repellent spray is going to come back in this new Batman.
Wait, shark repellent spray?
Yeah. He's like, Batman gets lowered into the sea, and then a very fake shark, grabs his leg and is like, rah, 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 and he's like hanging off a ladder, and on top of him, the ladder's coming out of the Batcopter, which Robin is flying, and he's like, Robin, pass me the shark repellent spray. And Robin opens a case, and there's spray for sharks, like octopus, like giant squid. And he grabs the shark one and like tosses it down to Batman, and he sprays it in the shark's face, and the shark falls off his leg and then explodes into the ocean.
Okay. Wait, so they had different sprays for different sea creatures.
For each sea creature.
And one of them was giant squid, which famously is one of the most rare animals to see in the world.
You never know if Batman's going to encounter
the most
squid.
Specific spray that anyone has ever thought of.
He's got crazy enemies. You never know. That's just one scene in this crazy movie.
How did it go from that to being this like grounded, gritty thing?
Extremely serious? Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking while I was watching it. I'm like, why did anyone decide? There's this bit where he has to like get rid of this bomb that's about to go off, and it's like the most cartoonish bomb. It's just a circle with the thing coming out, and he's like running around this pier and he like keeps trying to throw it places, but there ends up being like a couple on a boat and he's like, I can't do it there. And then he goes to the other side of the pier and there's just a family of ducks and he's like, I can't throw it there. And then at the end of it, he like lets out this line that's like, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. And then he ends up, I don't know where he ends up throwing it, but it's just a ridiculous movie. It's like a straight up comedy. And I'm like, why is Batman not this anymore?
Imagine if that is like what this film was. Like
this
everyone thought it was going to be really gritty.
But it's like a slapstick comedy. Everybody's wearing like really goofy fake outfits. Yeah.
What are you drinking there, Karsten?
I'm drinking water. Beverage check. What are you drinking, Jeff?
I have 2 drinks. I have water and
you never have just one drink.
Concentrate.
Yeah. Nice.
It's like very concentrated coffee where you have to then pour water in it to make it less strong.
Yeah. We have a soda related question later, so we'll get into that later.
Wow, that's just foreshadowing.
That's a way to keep people listening to the podcast, is let them know what's coming. What else is new? Not a ton. I should have come in to this prepared with something to say.
Yeah. Wait, no, you have a story that you've been holding from me for like a week.
Yep. Okay. Here's the story. It's really, I've hyped this up a little too much.
You've hyped this up, like you in the Patreon episode. Karsten is like, hey, wait, I have this story that's great. And he's like, it's so good, I should wait until we record another real podcast.
It's not even that long. I got home one night from a concert. I was in a really good mood. I was really tired and just was like kind of like a little, not drunk, but like tipsy because I like had stuff to drink at the concert. And I get this text. I've been looking for my AirPods all over the place, and I recently went to the cabin with my girlfriend and their siblings. And I was like, I probably left them in the car. And I got this text from this anonymous number with a picture of them holding the AirPods. And they were like, I have your AirPods, found them in the back of the car. And I was like, without thinking of who that could be, my response was, bro, what the fuck? And then it took me a second to scroll up and see that was my girlfriend's mom. And it was just really humiliating. And she sent like an LOL, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I thought this was someone else. Apologies for the language. And then, yeah, that was the entire story. It was not that good.
I'm a little underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed.
It's an okay story, but the amount you hyped the story
up really
for
hyped
a week.
Up. Well, the thing
I
is,
thought there was going to be like some life-altering news here where you were like, you found a diamond on the ground and it belonged to someone famous.
Nope. No, I just got really mortified and embarrassed, and that was the story. It's just humiliating is all it is, but yeah. It's a good story. Just saying, bro, what the fuck to a mom. And yeah, my girlfriend sent me a screenshot of their family group chat, and in it, the dad is saying, bro. So I'm just being mocked in the family at this point, and I'm never going to live it down.
But you got the AirPods back.
I did get the AirPods back last night. Yeah, I finally got them back, and as soon as their mom said hi to me, she was like, bro. And I was like, God damn it, this is bad.
Wait, were they the AirPods with your name on them?
They were the one with my name on it, yeah. Which is even more humiliating. But you know whose they are, I guess.
They're Karsten Rundquist.
World
famous YouTuber.
They're like, how many Karstens could it be? This has to be him. But yeah, that was my underwhelming story. I wish more happened, but that was it.
Yeah, I mean, not all stories can be winners.
No. What about you, Jeff? Like, how's your week been? How's it going?
It's been a week, Karsten Rundquist. I did a little bit of editing on a upcoming
the new video which I watched what you sent me, and it's really funny.
So get subscribe to my personal YouTube channel.
Yep.
It'll be one of my first thanking you for the subscribing videos.
Yeah. It's a good one too. I'm having a really bad hair day, by the way.
Yeah, you released a new video, which I don't know why I said that. Like, that's surprising. That's you every week you do that.
Every week I do it.
Job.
No, I put out I will talk about that a little bit. We're not going to discuss Euphoria on this podcast because Jeff hasn't seen it.
I have never seen it. And now I think I won't based on people's reactions.
No, yeah, it's not really. I put out a video on why I didn't really like the second season, and it's one of my most successful videos. Like, it's really going crazy, which is, you like to see that. What I thought was that I'm not surprised that it's doing well, because I'm like, Euphoria is the most talked about thing. I feel like my fan base and the Euphoria fan base are pretty
it's just a circle. The Venn diagram
it's just a circle. Yeah, everyone is in the same group. And yeah, I thought people were going to be really angry at the video because I'm like, I don't like the new season, but everyone is kind of on the same page, and that's something I should have expected. Like, no one really likes this new season, and yeah, that's
I don't like the new season, and I haven't seen either of the seasons.
The thing is, and I've talked to our friend of the pod, Jaxie, about this. She has also not watched the show, but she claims that just being on Twitter, you've basically seen the show. Like, you can recite every scene. And I don't know, maybe that's just her side of Twitter, but like, is there a lot of Euphoria talk on your timeline?
No, Jeff? I think that we follow different circles.
You're on different pages.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's I mean, I've seen a little bit, and it just seems like a very over sexualized high school. Is that what it's about?
Yeah. Well, that's not what it's about, but that's a part of it that is pretty criticized, is that there's just a lot of naked people in the show.
Wait, and they're supposed to be in high school?
And they're supposed to be in high school. That is when it gets weird, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're like trying to like just be really like authentic and real, and they're like, these are high schoolers having sex and like losing their virginities at parties, or like, and this is like the boys' locker room, and it's just a full room of guys naked, and they're like, I remember the first season, it was super well received in that they were like, this is groundbreaking, all the male full frontal nudity, because that's so not a thing. But the second season, people are starting to be like, you know what, it's weird. It's getting kind of weird how much nudity is in this show. And I'm in that. I've always been in that side. I'm like, I get what you're trying to do, but I think it is a little weird that you're doing this with high schoolers.
Yeah, it feels like you could have broken ground
in another way,
like in maybe college.
Still, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird show. It's mostly about like drug addiction and stuff of that nature. That's like much more serious and dark. And I think the show does all that stuff really well. And that's like why it is so critically acclaimed, is for how well the first season did that. But the second season is like very high school teen drama, like cheese.
And there's like a play.
There's a play.
That's the only thing I know.
Yeah, the play episode, which is like built just to be talked about on Twitter, but it's not really a great. I didn't think it was that good, but a lot of people like it.
Is it kind of like Train Spotting for high school? But with sex?
I've never heard that comparison, but it kind of is, yeah. Because Train Spotting is just like you've seen Train Spotting, yeah. I'm assuming, yeah.
Well, that's just like weird
gross
if I compared two things that I have not seen.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's got Train Spotting in there.
So it's like school bus spotting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. We should probably move on. Do we have any news?
Well, you're the news guy. You're in charge
what's
of
the
finding
news? Like
the big hot news.
Great big news.
Great big news.
Great big news movies.
I mean, a lot of the main news
we got
right now is not that.
Yeah, that's why I typed movies. I typed great big news movies.
Yeah. What are we finding?
These are just telling me what's going to be on Netflix. Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Here's the great big movie news. One of the top results from Great Falls. It's Great Falls movie rental store is closing.
Oh man.
It's Mike's Inc. Movies and More.
Damn it! I love that place.
Yeah, it says the sound of opening DVD cases is a familiar one for Michael Clark.
That's really sad.
Yeah, it's
just yeah.
Although here's what's suspicious: it says that he's owned this store for nearly 12 years. That would be 2010. Who would have opened a movie rental store in 2010? Yeah. That's well into the Netflix age.
I was gonna say it's right before Netflix became the norm.
Yeah,
you know?
That's the worst time you could have opened a movie rental store.
You know what?
Who's amazed that it has lasted this long. Also, in the sign that there's a picture of, there is a very copyrighted clip of Toy Story that Mike just used and put on his sign. So
poor Mike.
Yeah,
they're done.
Anyways, that was your big hot movie awesome news.
Yeah, it's actually pretty depressing movie news.
It was,
but it's not really. Just the reality. I
don't even know which state Great Falls is in.
Yeah,
Great Falls, like
great.
You just keep saying Great Falls, like I'm supposed to know where that is. Although I guess this is really a website for people that are in Great Falls, so they know where they are.
Great Falls,
Montana,
is a city in Montana. Yeah, I just looked it up.
There you go.
Shout out to Montana. The dirtbag screen somewhere there.
Was it Billings? Oh, Flathead.
No, Flathead Lake. And I got an email from, I couldn't make it because I'm like, that's a really hard place to get to.
Yeah, it's very far away from you.
But the programmer at the festival was like, hey, the crowd was laughing. They thought it was really funny. And I was like, that's great to hear. That's great. You went to a film festival before for one of your films, right?
I did, yeah.
It's Journey to Peoria?
Yeah, in Peoria, Illinois, for Jeff's Ghost.
Jeff's Ghost.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was the Laugh or Die Comedy Festival. It was like the jankiest film festival you can imagine at some like old movie theater.
That's still,
but somehow like 100 people showed up and watched it.
Yeah. Not a lot going on in the town. They'll show up to the festival.
Nice farmer's market I went to in Peoria while I was there.
Nice. Well, speaking of
Peoria. Let's see what you can do with that.
I was like, you really kind of cornered me there with Peoria. Speaking of
no one's
movies,
ever spoke of Peoria.
Yeah, we got a movie to talk about today. It's Free Guy. The new 2021 movie, the big summer smash starring Ryan Reynolds, directed by Sean Levy. And the synopsis reads, when a bank teller discovers he's actually a background player in an open-world video game, he decides to become the hero of his own story, one that he can rewrite himself. In a world where there's no limits, he's determined to save the day his way before it's too late, and maybe find a little romance with the coder who conceived him.
I mean, that
is the movie.
And you may think to yourself, that sounds very convoluted and stupid.
Yeah.
For a plot, and I don't know what to tell you. That's the plot.
No follow-up. Yeah, this is an interesting movie. I don't know how we haven't talked about it earlier or just touched on it at all, because it was definitely a hit. I feel like people saw it. Let me look up Free Guy box office. It raked in $300 million.
What?
Yeah, and the budget was
it says 100 to 125 million, so somewhere in that range.
It was a smash. I feel like it came at a great time when it just like seemed like this big kind of over the top CGI video game movie, and people wanted an excuse to go back to the theater, and I think Free Guy was kind of in that period of time. Like they definitely, the timing worked out for this movie, and it got a pretty good reception. It also has, now what's interesting is it has good reviews here. It has a 7.2 on IMDb, 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 4.6 out of 5 on Vudu. I'm like, these are good reviews for this movie. And it's interesting because on Letterboxd, I have very few mutuals who liked this movie. It's just like, it's interesting when you look at like your side of the internet and you're like, that is not reflective on the entire population's consensus on this movie.
I don't think it's bad.
No, it could be way worse for what it is.
Yeah, it's very much a classic popcorn blockbuster.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's very deliberate. Like, there's no effort made to make this film anything other than that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also, I will say it, kind of, not to say it hasn't been done before, but I like the premise. I'm like, I think taking this like Truman Show ass plot and applying it to like the modern age with like streaming and video games and open world and like this virtual reality kind of thing is like, I don't know. I'm like, that's a thing worth telling. So I'm like, I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah. And I like for this kind of film, I like the concept of films taking place in video games. I mean, you don't have too many of them.
Yeah.
You get Tron was like the original one.
Yeah.
That was more in a computer, but same idea. And then obviously you have Ready Player One, which did you like Ready Player One?
I didn't like Ready Player One. No. I can't believe I watched that. But did you like Ready Player One?
I thought it was about as good as this film.
Yeah. Okay. See, Ready Player One, I was like, I liked certain aspects of it. Like, it had this big, cool, like, it took itself really seriously, and in some parts, it was really cool in that way. Kind of reminded me of Speed Racer in a few ways, but yeah, it had a lot of kind of stupid, isn't this relevant moments that, I don't know. I don't. Anyway. But all that said, yeah, I don't think I hate this movie, but I don't like it. It's not, and that's honestly, it comes down to it not. I'm sorry.
No, it was just like if someone who loved this movie turned this on, like the first thing we're saying is, you know what? I don't hate it, but I don't like it. And that's like as far as our analysis goes.
Yeah, it exists somewhere in that corner.
But then there's like that other aspect of it where it's not the same as a film where you're trying to derive any meaning or like artistic, understanding of.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to hit those same notes for it to be watchable.
Exactly. Well, I'm kind of, we also talked about The Mummy a while ago, which I think is an older version of this kind of movie where it's like a big studio blockbuster. It's super dumb, but it's like fun and it's really entertaining. And I'm like, I can see why maybe The Mummy, like that's not someone else's type of humor or like something they get enjoyment out of if they don't like Brendan Fraser, which is weird. But I'm like, the thing about this that holds it back really comes down to a lot of just like personal, like, I'm like, the best this movie could be to me is like a fine, good, entertaining time. Like, it's not shooting for the stars to be some kind of like masterpiece that's like telling of its time. It's just supposed to be like a fun, exciting blockbuster, which it is, but I think it gets held back by a lot of either the casting or the writing. Some of it comes. I don't like Ryan Reynolds, is what I'm trying to say.
I also did not like Ryan Reynolds in this film.
That's basically, we just said a lot, and that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. Well, I don't think a lot of it's Ryan Reynolds' fault. I think Ryan Reynolds has films where he's given the tools to actually be charismatic and likable. Like in Deadpool, that's a good Ryan Reynolds film in terms of letting Ryan Reynolds play to his strengths. This is saying, Ryan Reynolds, what if you had no personality?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like, you know how Deadpool you have a lot of personality and people like you?
Yeah.
What if you were pretending to be a robot?
Right. Yeah. Which, I don't know. Did you ever see the Lego Movie, Jeff?
I did see the Lego Movie, yeah.
Isn't this very similar to the Lego Movie?
It is. It is so similar to the Lego Movie. It's like oh my God.
It's like a guy wakes up and he's like, it's a normal day. Everything's great.
Yeah.
And then that gets flipped around.
This is literally the Lego Movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Movie. And I was like, is Ryan Reynolds in the Lego Movie? But it's Chris Pratt, which is like, they're both interchangeable in my eyes. Yeah. That's when I realized that, I was like, that is a much better movie.
It is. This. And also,
I love the Lego Movie.
The Lego Movie is great.
That's so funny. I don't know. I don't think I hate Ryan Reynolds the way a lot of people do.
Wait, a lot of people hate Ryan Reynolds?
No, people hate Ryan Reynolds.
Really?
That's the confusing thing, is that he is like the most likable, kind of built to be a charming, universally like accessible actor. Like everyone kind of likes Ryan Reynolds, and I think people don't like him for that reason. They're just like, he's just this white bread dude. But I'm like, I discovered him in The Proposal. I don't know if you ever saw that. No. Sandra Bullock. I only watch it because my mom and my sister watch it a lot, and it's.
I don't know why you felt you need to preface that.
Well, I just I just grew up on it, and I'm like, he's charming in that because he's like, there's always the rom-com like attractive guy, but he kind of is self-aware and a little bit more on the goofy side, and that's Ryan Reynolds. Is like, he's the hot actor from Hollywood, but like is funny about it, and I think that character is just kind of played out at this point, and it's just like, this is obviously he's the lead of this movie, because it's like the guy who is like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah, but then the issue is that, as we were saying before, he's deliberately instructed to be a robot with almost no personality.
Yeah. So I don't... Which makes it kind of tough to...
Yeah.
Did we talk about Detective Pikachu? This is my last Ryan Reynolds thing. Did you ever see Detective Pikachu?
I didn't, because you said it was not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He plays Pikachu in that movie.
That's what I've heard.
That's, I think, when people started hating him, because they were like, he's ruining Pikachu. And anyway.
Yeah, what Ryan Reynolds films have you seen? I've seen the first two Deadpools for some reason. I've seen Green Lantern. Apparently I just see, which is very funny that he has been two different superheroes, because one tanked so badly that they just pretended it didn't exist. It's like, Ryan Reynolds, DC, you're the other side now.
Yeah.
But I've also seen
Adventureland. Apparently, I didn't know he was
I've seen Adventureland. I didn't know he was in that. He's been in a lot of films.
Yeah, I always thought he was kind of he's very selective about what he chose, but apparently he's not. He's really done a lot.
Harold
of
and Kumar Go to White Castle. Apparently he was in.
I've seen the Deadpool movies.
Yeah, you seen R.I.P.D.?
No, Ripped.
But that was supposed to be bad. No, it's R.I.P.D. because they were like undead. They were like cops for the undead, like dead people or something. So did I ever tell you my story about R.I.P.D.?
No, you've seen R.I.P.D.?
No, I haven't. But when I was in Malta, I was just walking around Valletta, Malta, which is like the oldest part of Malta. And there was a guy busking, and it turns out he was from Kansas, and he used to work a little bit in Hollywood as like an assistant, and he was an assistant for someone on R.I.P.D. And he's like, yeah, that movie, like after that experience, I decided to travel the world and start busking. So it's like, this guy, his experience on R.I.P.D. was like so life altering that he decided to pack up all his stuff, like just travel around the world playing guitar instead of staying in Hollywood.
Yeah. That's how bad that movie must be.
Yeah.
Wow. It sounds awful. That is kind of a bad
It's supposed to be terrible.
Yeah. So that's one of his other movies. Yeah, apparently he was in Ted. I don't remember him being in Ted, but he was in Ted and Free Guy. Red Notice, which is supposed to be one of the worst movies of the year, according to pretty much everyone I know that's seen it has been like, this is a bad movie. And Netflix claims it's like their most viewed movie ever. And everyone's like, how?
It's because The Rock's in it. That's why.
The Rock, well, yeah, they have like this all-star cast of The Rock, Ryan Reynolds.
In a way, kind of proves that movies are more about who is in them more than the movie.
Definitely. Which, speaking of, the rest of the cast in here, we got Jodie Comer, who she was in The Last Duel, which I saw. She hasn't been in a lot. She's kind of
selective about what they're in.
Yeah, she's very selective.
Like Ryan Reynolds.
Joe Keery from Stranger Things and Spree is in this.
Yeah,
DePaul alum.
Graduate. Yeah.
Yep, DePaul alum's doing great things.
Joe Keery.
Lil Rel, who is like, seems to be in a lot of movies too. He is always in a bad movie. He was in Space Jam. He was in Tom and Jerry.
Oh my God, that's
he was in
the
Tag.
worst.
He was in Bird Box. But he's also done like some great movies like Get Out and Judas and the Black Messiah and Bad Trip. He's just got a crazy filmography.
If you were an actor, would you rather make a lot of money being in like Tom and Jerry or be in something like Parasite? Obviously, not actually Parasite because
not Parasite, but
they'd be like, why is there a guy who's not Korean in this?
Yeah, Knives Out or something. Yeah. I honestly admire this guy's career, Lil Rel, because he does a little bit of everything. He's kind of like, he's kind of, I don't know. He like does bad comedies that clearly have like a massive paycheck involved, but he also does the stuff that I feel like interests him and, you know, gets cool gigs here and there. Like he seems to have a pretty good career going for him. But yeah, who else? Taika Waititi is in this.
Yeah, yes, as a villain.
The game
Taika Waititi,
developer.
I think Taika's first villain since Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah,
so it went from Hitler to this.
To the game developer. Yeah.
It's very big step down in how evil his characters were.
Yeah. I didn't like him a lot in this movie personally, and I'm a Taika Waititi fan. I was just like, I don't know if this is funny. Didn't think it was that funny.
Too much of a caricature. Like it.
Yeah.
It was just watching someone act so over the top that it just didn't. Yeah, it did not. Even in a film that is about some artificial intelligence inside of a video game becoming cognizant and then talking to a woman who somehow is like finding him in the real world. Even in this setting, it still didn't feel grounded.
Yeah.
Which is saying something.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. And then running off the list of the insane amount of cameos in here, we got Hugh Jackman, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Tina Fey, John Krasinski, Chris Evans, and then we got the Ninja, a bunch of Twitch streamers, which I'm just saying I feel left out. They never called me to be in this movie.
Imagine there's a Carson Runquist cameo where you're playing GeoGuessr.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, it's Latvia and that blue shirt guy. Can we talk about that? They're like, yeah, we don't need that in the movie. Blue shirt guy. Yeah, it's. I mean, that's one of my. Here's the thing: is like this movie was properly prepared for the thing. This movie, everyone really praised it as being this like high concept, like original blockbuster. It's like, oh my God, we have this original movie in theaters that's not a superhero movie or like a remake. And like, thank God it's a success. But I'm like, this movie is borrowing from like every movie ever. It's like, it's throwing in Captain America and like Twitch streamers, and
it's also literally the Lego movie. Now that you pointed that out, I can't get over the fact that this is literally the Lego movie.
It's just the live action Lego movie. Yeah.
Like, even the pacing of the plot is the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be fun, but I don't know. If we're talking, like, I liked Ready Player One a bit more than this, just in how it uses other properties.
Grander.
Yeah. It's like, it was kind of stupid making like the Iron Giant.
Yeah, they're both incredibly stupid. But the thing with Ready Player One, at least, is that it leaned into, I think, a little more of making it feel bigger, which is all that matters for a popcorn blockbuster.
Yeah, yeah. And this is like, it very much exists in the video game, which is I don't know, it kind of like wears off after a while. At first I was like, this is kind of cool. It feels like the best VFX execution, at least, that we have of a video game movie, because I feel like famously they're kind of bad most of the time. Which also, I should bring up, this movie is nominated for an Oscar. This is an Oscar-nominated movie.
For Ryan Reynolds, for the lead actor?
For lead actor. It's, yeah. But it's got best VFX.
If that happened.
That happened. Like, best supporting actor, Taika Waititi. You're like, wow.
Like, what
took it all the way.
To the Academy.
Have you heard of the Academy? I think we talked about this a little bit in the patron Zoom hangout, but their like audience award, their fan favorite.
What is the deal with that?
I looked it up and it's like really bad. It's really lame. I still don't fully know what it is. Also, that's the issue. It's like people vote on their favorite like moment, or Oscar fan favorite leaderboard, and it's Army of the Dead, which I'm like, what is the fan base for Army of the Dead? I feel like no one's talked about it since it came out.
People who only have a Netflix subscription.
Yeah. Cinderella, Dune, Malignant, Minamata, The Power of the Dog.
Wait. Malignant?
Malignant. It was a horror movie that came out back in like September that James Wan made. The Power of the Dog, Sing 2.
Right. Yeah, I was like, I knew I've heard that, but I didn't picture. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I heard of it. Yeah.
Spider-Man: No Way Home, The Suicide Squad, and Tick Tick Boom. And I'm like, what? Why? I don't.
It really depends what type of people actually vote on this, because I would never vote on this. I do not care.
No.
So I feel like Tick Tick Boom could win if it's somehow finds its way onto Facebook.
Yeah.
all the old people.
Anyways, this isn't in any of those, I don't think. But that's the thing, is like a lot of and I don't know if it's just because their friends are in this, but I feel like a lot of the people I know online that like stream and are big into like gaming really love this movie. Like, it does have the approval of the community it's trying to be about, which I guess is cool, but for me, I'm like, I don't know. It's not
it's
my
fine.
thing.
It's literally a movie that I watched it and I was fairly entertained, and then it ended and I forgot about it. And then I watched it like a couple months ago, and Carson's like, "What do we do this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that." And then I had to reread the plot to remember anything about it. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not like you're it's not going to surprise you in any way.
I would never recommend this movie to anyone.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know what that would say about me. Like, if someone's like asked for a movie recommendation and I said Free Guy of any movie in the world,
movies of the year, you're like, Free Guy was really cool, actually.
Yeah, because there's nothing specific about this movie. It wouldn't, if someone said that this was their favorite movie, that would not tell me anything about them other than the fact that they're like the most generic person ever.
Yeah. I'm like, if you want to watch this movie, I would recommend the Lego Movie instead. I would just be like, that's the same thing, but it's a bit better.
And aesthetically, it's much better.
Yeah. Channing Tatum has a cameo in this too. I don't think we talked about that, but he's in this. He's good, I guess. That's kind of it, though. I guess
that is it.
The VFX I can see earning the award. Not the award, but the nomination. I'm like,
Yeah.
the VFX
I mean,
do look
The
like they
VFX
took
look
a lot
good,
of work.
and there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. The whole thing
So
is...
at the very minimal amount here, I think it should earn most VFX.
Yeah. More than The Matrix, even.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if you only go by VFX, this crushes Power of the Dog.
this definitely crushes the Power of the Dog in that way.
Yeah.
I
Also,
think that's
a lot
the
more
one...
action in this movie than Power of the Dog.
Yeah.
If you're a big action fan, this is so much better than Power of the Dog.
We haven't talked about this. Have you seen on Twitter the Sam Elliott
I did
thing?
see that.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Unnecessary.
I watched I didn't watch it, but I went and like found the episode of Mark Maron's podcast, and I skipped to that part. And it's even funnier hearing it in his voice, because at the end of it, Mark Maron is like, "So you took it personal," and Sam Elliott's like, "Yeah, I took it real fucking personal, pal." And I'm like, "You weren't a cowboy. You're an actor."
Yeah.
He's like, "I took it real fucking personal." I'm like, Jesus. It's just so funny.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyway.
what do people from New Zealand know about the American West?
It's yeah.
It's a great question.
He's got a great point. Anyways, he was not a fan of Power of the Dog. Yeah, so he brings it up and he's like, "You want to talk about that piece of shit, huh?" It's so funny. Anyways, I wonder what Sam Elliott thought of Free Guy in the.
Yeah. That's
you know,
see, that would be.
That's what we want to know.
What if he's like, what does Levy know about game development?
Yeah, he's like, I play games. That's not a game.
Video games are nothing like this.
What is this guy from?
I mean, you wouldn't even be wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah. There's a cowboy had his chaps. He's got the chaps on the whole fucking movie.
They didn't even lasso one person.
So good. What are you feeling for a score for Free Guy?
It's fine. It's it's like a 2.5 or 3.
Yeah. I was between 2.5 and 2. I was like, I will not remember this next week.
That's the thing. Like because of that, I probably gotta go 2.5.
I'm just like, it's not what I will recognize it as this fun blockbuster that I'm sure a lot of people had a blast seeing in a theater. I'm like, maybe I would have enjoyed this more if I saw it in a theater full of people who were really enjoying it. But I'm like, The Mummy is the kind of Hollywood blockbuster that I love watching. And that's
The Mummy is awesome. That's like
sort
the
of a
main
different
takeaway
version
from
of this
podcast.
Yeah, it's
Is that
the Mummy
We love The Mummy.
is good.
Yeah, the sequel is okay. The third one is abysmal.
Yeah.
Again, there's a CGI Yeti punting a person, and then another CGI Yeti doing the field goal sign like it's good.
Yeah.
It was. It's terrible. Anyways,
I all right. So I'm feeling a 2. This is, we kind of talked about this because it just hit HBO Max. If you want to check it out there, check it out at home. But that's Free Guy.
I've definitely said this before, but HBO Max just sounds like a YouTube channel that someone named Max should make, and they just talk about HBO films.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's HBO Max hitting you with the hottest.
How long,
at home
or how
entertainment.
popular would they have to get before HBO sued them?
They'd have to get pretty popular, probably.
Yep.
I will say HBO Max is really killing it. Not that we're a streaming service podcast, but they just put out the new West Side Story. They've got like the Free Guy.
Yeah. What's your feelings on West Side Story?
The new one?
Yeah.
I love it personally. I think it's a really fun time, but I'm also I like the original too, so I just like the music and I like the story a lot. And I thought I'm also a big fan of Steven Spielberg, which is why I'm like, I'll give Ready Player One the benefit of the doubt. Why'd you ask that? Do you have an opinion on West Side Story?
I just
want to know my thoughts.
I just wanted to know your thoughts, because I respect your opinion.
Thanks, Jeff. So yeah, Free Guy, HBO Max. Let's get into some questions. This first one comes from the Patreon, patreon.com/Carscast, where, if you ask a question over there, you're getting it answered over here.
If you are the high tier.
The high tier, the $15
Which
patron,
again, obviously, $15 patrons, you're just supporting us in a very extraordinary way.
Big fan of the...
So it's not... Yeah. The main reason isn't to get your question on the podcast unless you love hearing your question answered. It's really to support us, and we appreciate it tremendously.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself, Jeff. Great way of putting it. This one comes from Taylor is concerned for Monroe's dog, which is a little inside joke from the Zoom Hangouts. And if you guys feel left out, it's because this is a patron joke.
Yeah,
this is a patron joke.
It was during the geo-guessing. Monroe Page was so confident that Monroe was betting the life of his dog on getting it correct.
That's what you're missing out on over at the Patreon.
And, just so anyone knows, everyone knows this, Monroe's dog is cared for very well,
alive
in
and well.
Great health.
Yep. No one contact anyone. It's fine. This one comes from Taylor's concern for Monroe's dog, and we all know Tom likes beans, but do you guys like beans? Good question, honestly. What are your thoughts on beans? Yeah?
I like black beans.
Yep.
I sometimes like baked beans. Very underrated bean is the lima bean.
Mm-hmm.
I also like soybeans.
Yeah. I like soybeans too. I think baked beans are my favorite. I love baked beans in the summer. Like baked beans, a hot dog. What are you talking about?
Okay. You made it. You brought it back. Just the phrase I like baked beans in the summer. Like once you made it sound like it was part of a barbecue, then that was okay.
Yeah, it's part of the barbecue.
It was just saying that as the first part, like just summer baked beans.
That's not a good.
But no, you brought it back. Image. It's normal. Again.
Yeah, some baked beans, a hot dog, and let's say some corn on the cob. That's an American summer.
What about a chili dog?
I like a chili dog too, but I'm kind of a traditional.
What's the song? It's like sucking on a chili dog. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea.
It's like the John Mellencamp song.
No idea.
Yeah, like the Jack and Diane. The song Jack and Diane.
No.
You definitely know this song. It's very famous. Like a little ditty about Jack and Diane. Two American kids growing up in the heartland. Yeah, and it's like, but one of the lines is like, sucking on a chili dog outside the Tasty Freeze. And then I just remember there was a guy who made a song that was like, he just made the entire song sucking on a chili dog and he just sung the whole thing like that.
I'm like, why would you suck on a chili dog?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the concerning part.
Yeah,
sucking on a chili dog. Yeah, I like
actually,
refried beans too.
Yeah, that's good to get back to the beans. I'm reading the lyrics now, and the sucking on a chili dog thing
is weird.
It might mean something else, because then Diane's sitting on Jackie's lap, got his hands between her knees. What is happening, John Mellencamp?
I think the chili dog is not a chili dog. I'll be honest. We're starting to unpack this song.
Ooh. Dude, these lyrics are, if you read them, they're really creepy, actually. Okay, let's I'm not going to keep reading those lyrics.
So anyways, beans.
That's a very famous song, though. Okay. Anyways, beans.
Yeah. Refried beans, black beans. I like beans a lot in like Mexican cuisine. They do a lot for the dish.
Yeah. And Cuban food as well, black beans.
And Cuban food. Yeah. This next one comes from the subreddit, and it is from Roller Skate Butterfly. It's, can you guys rank the different sodas?
Well, there's a lot of sodas.
That's what when I saw this question, I was like, there's a lot of sodas. I don't know where to begin, but maybe just like kind of, let's talk like favorite soda least favorite soda, and whatever's in between, like a mid-tier soda. Let's just like list. I'm gonna go Minnesota. I'm kidding.
Minnesota, yeah.
Come on, get out of here.
So I'm a big Mountain Dew guy.
Yep.
Always been, always will be.
Yeah.
Probably not always will be, actually. But
to the day he dies.
Yeah. But also, like, the special flavors are usually quite good, like the Baja Blast at Taco Bell. Are you a Coke or a Pepsi guy? I mean, you're not really a soda guy.
This is your question.
That's what I was about to say. I just remember right when I asked you, I'm like, wait, you don't drink soda.
No, I don't drink soda. It's not my thing. Yeah. So this is you. This is all you.
Yeah, I just, right as I asked you that, I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, so that's, I'm a Coke person over Pepsi.
Okay. Pretty normal response there.
Not
a rare breed.
Yeah, you know what? Mellow Yellow, surprisingly good.
Yeah. Do you like 7-Up?
7-Up doesn't do that much for me. It's just like worse Sprite.
Okay.
And Sprite's okay.
Root beer?
I hate root beer.
Yeah.
I also, over time, don't really like flavored sodas. Like, fruit flavored, like orange soda, grape soda. I don't drink those anymore.
Like those. Okay.
No, I'm getting like to be less of a soda person as I get older.
Sprite? Did you talk about Sprite?
Yeah, I just said like it's better than 7-Up. It's fine.
Okay. Gotcha. Interesting. I feel like that's a pretty comprehensive rank that we got.
I mean, no thanks to you.
What about the old Coke? Where does it stand in the lineup?
Better
than
Coke,
root beer?
So I've drank 2 Cokes that were, from about 2005 and 2004.
Yep.
Still better than root beer.
Fair enough.
Root beer's horrible.
Don't
they call it sarsaparilla in other countries?
I did not.
Yeah, in the Carousel of Progress at Disney World, the animatron like talking about drinking sarsaparilla.
What about Squirt?
A Squirt is okay. It's a good mixer.
Okay.
It's grapefruit flavored.
Really? I won't say anymore, not to spoil a certain thing. But cool. Well, that's that answer. The next one comes from Histo12, and I am very curious about this question. Have either of you had interesting experiences on psychedelics?
I have not.
Neither have I. No, I've never done.
Boring.
Underwhelming answer. I've done nothing crazier than weed.
Yeah.
I have smoked weed, and I don't like how not in control I am when I smoke weed.
Yeah, Karsten on weed is crazy.
It's a crazy thing to see.
Yeah, he has reefer madness.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just don't like. I think it can be relaxing and feel really nice in certain way. It can be really fun especially if I'm like watching a movie or a show. Those were.
Yeah.
But then like
sometimes you have too much and you flick switches in your brain and you just start going crazy and just verbally assaulting everyone you see.
That's not no.
You should see him. Sometimes he gets violent. He starts kicking and it's just
fights.
with his left leg. He only kicks with his left leg.
Yeah.
It's like he becomes violent with one half of his body, whereas left leg and left arm are just like kind of jabbing out.
Many are saying this.
Yeah, and then he starts doing that Fortnite dance where it's like you do your arm, like you pump your arm and the leg. Mm-hmm. And then he does the like Agent Orange dance or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I'm doing everything. Okay, he's back. You froze for a second there.
That was just time stopping for you because you're so high.
Yeah, I was like that. Man, I took too much. No, I don't really smoke weed much for that reason.
Yeah, we can also preface actually that Karsten's not even admitting to anything illicit because it is entirely legal in Chicago.
It's not crazy to admit this anymore. It's very legal here. That's why I like picked it up for like a month at one point because I was like, it's legal and I can just go buy it, which was going to do that was a crazy experience. I was like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
And then I owned it and I was like, I have to use it. because I bought this.
It felt like the Nathan For You episode where he was like selling the TVs for $1.
Yeah.
Where people would show up and they're like, "So the TV's $1?" It was like that kind of.
Yeah.
But the weed chocolate bars are pretty good.
You've had the weed chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the chocolate's good. That's the thing. I don't. Not even commenting on the weed element of it. It's just a good chocolate bar.
I've never had edibles because they freak me out. One, because I'm like, there's like nutty edibles, and I feel like having an allergic reaction high would be the worst thing that could ever happen to me. Yeah. So I've just have even if it's like a gummy type of thing, I'm like, it could be on the same conveyor belt at some point, and I just don't want to risk that. In that
did love
situation.
The phrase nutty edibles.
Nutty edible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like a nice
nutty edibles.
Yeah.
Like complete like weed out of the picture, just a company that makes nutty edibles. Yeah. But I guess that answers that. We've never really talked about drugs on this podcast because it's not
really a drug podcast.
No, we aren't drug guys. We don't do drugs.
Yeah, we're legal drug guys.
Yeah. This isn't the Joe Rogan Experience. You're not getting the psychedelic stories. You're getting I'm like, one time I took ADD medication and I did really good on a test. Yeah. But that answers that. This next one, right? No, that's it. That's it for today. Those are our 3 questions. Thanks, guys. If you want to ask your questions, hit us up in the subreddit r/carscast or become a $15 patron, and we'll answer them here. I guess
what's great for me is since I know you, I can just ask you any questions I want at any time. I just slide into those DMs.
It's true.
I say, Karsten, what's your favorite color of strawberry?
And I'll be like, green. And then
and I'm like, I didn't know that about you.
I didn't know
glad
that
we've become closer because of this information.
Yeah. Speaking of closer, let's head into the wrap-up. The wrap-up for today, next movie. Jeff, do you want to do Batman for next week? Or... it's how you feel about going to a theater. That's why I'm like, you know what? You don't have to.
I feel like we should.
We should.
Yeah, let's do it.
But, no pressure.
No, let's do it.
Okay, Batman next week. Talking about it. Should be a fun one. I'm excited, at least. And next we like to read a review because we love to hear what you guys have to say about the podcast. And it's always something funny. It's always something funny with you guys. This one comes from Donal Mooney, and its subject line is from Great Britain. Subject line, what's not to love? 5 stars. And it's, Karsten is the type of fella to help the moving guy lift a couch onto his moving truck. Thanks for the help, Karsten. Couldn't ask for more. Moving guy. I haven't read this one before, right? I don't think so. I don't recognize that.
I feel like I would have remembered that.
Yeah. Anytime, moving guy. Next is the patrons. We've talked about them a lot today, and we just want to take this time to give them a special shout-out and thank you. If you have ever considered becoming a patron, it's a great time to do so over at the patreon.com/carscast.
Any time's a good time to give Carson Rehnquist money.
And Jeffrey Borslow money. That's not what you've always said. The Patreon has tons of cool perks that you get for supporting us, such as bonus episodes coming twice a month, Q&As, which if you're a $15 patron, you get them answered in these episodes, Zoom Hangouts, which, as you could tell, are a lot of fun. Be a part of the inside jokes with us, where we play GeoGuessr. It's so much fun. And
everyone's dog is in good health.
Yes, good, healthy dogs. And shout-outs at the end of every episode, which I'm about to do right now. Well, I have to pull up the patron list, but wait, it's still loading, and I have to put them in alphabetical order. I guess I don't have to. I could always do it. Anyways, thank you. Alex Thomas, Anson Contreras, Camilla, Coop, David Borslow, David Sir, Eli Brow, Finn Richardson, Gavin Gibson. Get Semisonic on the pod so that you can change your outro to closing time. Goodnight Tale, Grant Gower, Jaden Easton, John Van Hout, Judith, KDT. Let's change the Google search results for PTA. Liv Rob, Lul Hottie, Lukewarm, Maddie Robertson, Martin Duff, Mary Lee Borslow, Meridian, Monopoly Shrimp on the Barbie. Monroe Page, Nathan Worley, Nora B, Owen Felton, Pasta, Pete Setherent, Riley Ost, Stella Perry, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Smitty, Werben Jagerman Jensen. Taylor is concerned for Monroe's dog, the raccoon from Airbud 7th Inning Fetch. Tom Likes Beans, Wes Kinley, Wiley Todd, Xavier Fossier, Yusef A, Zoinks, and Zoe Hernandez McDonald. Man, that one was hard. Smitty got me this time.
I mean, they did get you. I mean, that's clearly the point of that name. And yeah, they got
it's you. Taken it. I've always been able to get through it, but today I just
you'll get it back to it next time.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, we really killed the timing of this. It's like we just hit an hour right now.
Yeah.
So
this was a good episode.
Yeah. I'll catch you on the flip side, Karsten Rehnquist.
Catch you on the flip side, Jeff.